And welcome to Hannity. History on Capitol Hill tonight. 8 Republican lawmakers joining all 208 House Democrats to remove Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker, the first time in our nation's history. And McCarthy will not seek the speakership again. Now, sources telling me at this hour some House Republicans have been in contact with and have started an effort to draft former President Donald Trump to be the next speaker. And I have been told that President Trump might be open to helping the Republican Party, at least in the short term, if necessary, if it's needed. Anyway, but here's former Speaker McCarthy earlier tonight. Let's take a look.
I believe I can continue to fight, maybe in a different manner. I will not run for Speaker again. I'll have the conference pick somebody else. I think today was a political decision by the Democrats. And I think the things they have done in the past hurt the institution. When they just started removing people from committee, and they just started doing the other things. And my fear is the institution fell today. Because you can't do the job if 8 people, you have 94% or 96% of your entire conference, but 8 people can partner with the whole other side. How do you govern? And for them to make a motion on me because I made a decision for the country that they agreed with, but they choose to do the other, that becomes a problem.
Now, this all went down after a motion to vacate was put forward by Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, citing trust issues because of a recent bipartisan resolution, a CR, to fund the government through mid-November, and a lack of action on a number of bills, appropriations bills. And Gaetz went forward with a move to oust Speaker McCarthy. Successful. Anyway, given the slim GOP majority, Gaetz needed only a handful of other Republicans to get it done. But now uncertainty reigns supreme on Capitol Hill. In truth, Gaetz, other Republicans, they did have legitimate complaints. Returning to regular order, passing appropriations bills, single-issue bills, balanced budget amendment, term limits, all promised fair criticism. But many of those measures could have been dealt with, especially in the future, especially issues that would never have become law at this time. Really came down to the fiscal issues in play here, the appropriations process, for example. But the question is this, and every conservative, every Republican needs to be asking this tonight: was this the best strategic and tactical approach at this moment? Now, there were very, very viable alternatives, plans put together by Freedom Caucus members, people like Congressman Chip Roy, who will join us tonight, and Byron Donalds and Scott Perry. For example, one plan cut spending by a whopping 8% and also had historic border security measures attached, but was opposed by Gaetz and a few other Republicans, and that didn't go far. That left Chip Roy kind of speechless. That plan would have allowed more time needed for the appropriations bills to be passed. And the second option actually had a 30% cut in discretionary spending and included, by the way, the Republican Party's border bill, H.R. 2. That would have been a great alternative. That, again, would have also resulted in the full 12 appropriations bills having been voted on and hopefully passed. So today, the question we all have: was the nuclear option needed? Was it worth it? Well, I can tell you right now, I don't know. Time will certainly tell whether this was a good move or a bad move. But one reality will not change. Republicans have a minuscule majority, whoever the speaker is, and it is made up of disparate groups ranging from moderate left to Freedom Caucus conservative. Now, Gaetz says that he was ripping the Band-Aid off the status quo in the Washington swamp. But the House Oversight Committee Chairman Jim Jordan had a different take. Let's hear him.
On January 3rd, we said the 118th Congress is about 3 things: pass the bills that need passed, do the oversight work that needs to be done, and stop the inevitable omnibus that comes from the United States Senate right before the holidays. Kevin McCarthy has been rock solid on all 3. We have passed the bills we told the American people we would pass. 87,000 IRS agents, that bill passed. Parents' Bill of Rights, that bill passed. Energy legislation passed. Border security, immigration enforcement legislation, the strongest bill ever to pass the Congress, passed earlier this year. We have done what we told them we were going to do.
All right, now keep in mind, Republicans hold a 9-vote majority in 1/2 of 1/3 of the federal government. Making up that very slim majority is a coalition of lawmakers. You got the Freedom Caucus, the Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday group, the study group, along with moderate Republicans, many from districts that Biden won in 2020, 18 to be exact. Now, bringing that group together on anything is not an easy feat. But in the end, Republicans, let me warn you tonight, you will succeed or you will fail together. That is undeniable. Still, McCarthy accomplished a lot, including a serious investigation into Biden's bribery, money laundering allegations, which is ongoing, an impeachment inquiry that is now picking up steam, an investigation into Biden's weaponized FBI and DOJ, multiple major pieces of legislation, including a border security bill that I just mentioned, a bill to stop Biden's plan to hire 80,000 new IRS agents, a bill to stop big government restrictions on gas stoves and other appliances, another bill to repeal the worst parts of the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But now, without a speaker, all matters involving the House come to a grinding halt. The GOP's investigations will be stalled, 0 Republican bills will be sent to the Senate, and Republican infighting, that'll take center stage, which is exactly what Democrats and the media mob desperately want, and they want to continue for a long period of time. Now, President Trump earlier today, even in the midst of what's going on in New York, took time to post this on Truth Social. Why is it that Republicans are always fighting among themselves? Why aren't they fighting the radical left Democrats who are destroying our country? Oh, I happen to agree with the president. We are now a year away from the single most pivotal election of our lifetime. It's all on the line now. Democrats are destroying the rule of law. Equal justice, equal application of our laws is dead. And by the way, as we've seen, Donald Trump and his family are now being targeted in ways this country has never seen before. Joe Biden and his family are shielded, protected around every turn by Joe's weaponized DOJ. The border is an absolute disaster, nightmare, national security risk. Our economy is a disaster. Americans are suffering more than at any point in my lifetime. Inflation is through the roof. Gas prices are through the roof and going higher, by the way. And our commander-in-chief has real significant cognitive issues that everybody in the world can see because it's that transparent. He is neither physically nor mentally fit to serve this country. House Republicans can't solve their differences behind closed doors. How about you get in a room, you throw away your phone, and maybe you stay in that room, order pizza, and don't come out until you agree. Knowing how important these appropriations bills were, I have a criticism. Why did the Republicans take off the month of August? In the end, this may all turn out fine. I'm not hitting the panic button tonight. However, the American people's patience, it will run out quickly here. And so the GOP, take my advice if you want. It seems a lot of people never take it. Be careful, and you better get a new speaker quickly. Democrats, they want you in complete disarray. They want a distraction away from their failed policies and their feeble president. And they'd really love a few moderate Republicans to peel off and actually vote for a Democrat for speaker. So will the GOP rally behind a new speaker? Will anyone even want the job? Or will this end in a disaster? I cannot answer that question tonight, but time will tell. We expect a vote on a new speaker sometime next week. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.